Freemasons and Illuminati, Main Slave here, and today I'm going to be talking about the Dance of Death. Pretty interesting album to me because this was the first Iron Maiden album that I experienced as basically a new album coming out, because Brave New World was the new album when I became a fan, but this was the first time that I actually got to experience new Iron Maiden music. And I remember before it came out just like thinking, oh my goodness, this is so crazy. How is it going to be to hear new Iron Maiden music? Because for like 2 or 3 years before that, I was just listening to Iron Maiden's entire catalog, totally obsessed with them. And for the first time ever, I was going to get brand new Iron Maiden music, and I was definitely looking forward to it. And the first song that I actually got to hear was Wildest Dreams, and even as a young kid, total Maiden fanboy, I remember thinking, this is not that good. To me, it kind of sounded like Iron Maiden in the early 90s when they basically sucked. The whole count-in thing that Nico didn't help. It just kind of had this happy vibe that I hated from Iron Maiden. And then I remember switching it over to Rainmaker and thinking, okay, this is not going to be as bad as I thought it was going to be originally. But to be quite honest, over the years, I have just totally not liked Dance of Death. To me, it is by far one of Iron Maiden's weakest albums, mainly because of the songs, because I think that Iron Maiden were still performing really well, actually, on this album. I think Bruce's voice was still very good, and of course there's a lot of people who think that it wasn't at this point. I think that the band's performance on the album is really good. So the sound was there, the performance was there, but the songs, just were not nearly as strong as a lot of other Iron Maiden songs. Rainmaker is definitely better than Wildest Dreams, but has not aged on me too well. When it first starts, it definitely sounds pretty good. It's pretty melodic, but to be quite honest, it's way too repetitive as far as the verses and the choruses go. And, this whole song kind of just gets chalked up to the chorus, so basically I don't find myself going back and listening to it. At this point on the album, No More Lies is by far the strongest song on the album, and I know a lot of you are probably saying, are you crazy? This song probably repeats the chorus more than any other song on this album. But I think everything aside from that is very good. I think the music is pretty original. It starts out slow, but it actually has a very good atmosphere, and it does build in a very, very good way. Once it gets fast, it's kind of just classic Iron Maiden, very melodic, very, very good performance by Bruce. I really like the middle section of the music. Monsegur is just complete garbage. I never liked it. Dance of Death, the title track, is definitely one of the better Steve Harris, Yannick Gers, little collaborations with the acoustic guitars and everything that I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are familiar with these days. It's probably one of the strongest songs on this album, one of the few strongest songs on this album. It's a very good, title track. I don't think it's as good as Brave New World, but it's definitely pretty good. It's very, very melodic, and it actually builds really well. It doesn't take too long in the whole intro, and it feels very organic, very natural. And once it gets going, it is very melodic. It has some very classic Maiden little twin melodies in there, some great solos, great performance once again by Bruce, and definitely one of the major highlights on this album. Gates of Tomorrow is complete garbage. New Frontier is complete garbage. Passchendaele is, in my opinion, the strongest song on this album, and many people consider it to be the epic of this album. One of the strongest songs that Iron Maiden has done since Brave New World. I put it pretty much right up there with Blood Brothers as far as originality goes. I mean, there's really no other Iron Maiden song that sounds like it, and I don't think there will ever be, unless they just completely rehash it. Which I honestly wouldn't put past them anymore, but it's a great song. It's very, very atmospheric. It's extremely heavy. It's got really, really memorable parts in it. It's got really melodic parts in it. There's even some parts in there that, are a little bit emotional. It really does a good job of taking you to a different place, a different time, basically what the song is about. And for me, I mean, yeah, it's if you're going to pick up this album, it's probably going to be for this song. Face in the Sand and Age of Innocence to me is the filler on this album, and with any filler tracks, I think there is going to be people that really like these songs and really get very defensive when people call them filler or call them garbage or whatever they're going to call them. And then there's people who, just don't like them. I mean, filler tracks are very polarizing. There was a time when I did kind of enjoy them, but going back, they're not nearly as strong as I once thought that they were. They're just not very memorable. They're both around 6 minutes, which in my opinion is too long for both of these tracks. I think maybe at the very least they could have took the strongest moments from both of these tracks and made one song. And of course the album ends with The Journeyman, the very first all acoustic song by Iron Maiden, and I don't like it. I'm not saying that it's weak. I don't think that it's necessarily weak. The music itself is not the strongest music they've ever done. For the most part, from what I hear, a lot of people really like this song, but I never found it to be that good. I mean, it's definitely filled with choruses, and you would probably expect that from an acoustic song. It doesn't really go anywhere to me. I think it's just probably a little bit too long. I think it's about 7 minutes, and I think that's a little bit too long for it. And in all honesty, I pretty much always skip it. As soon as Passchendaele is over, to be honest, I'm done with this album. Although I will not say that it's necessarily a bad song, I don't even think it's necessarily a weak song, I just don't like it, and I do not find myself going back to it pretty much ever. So yeah, that's Dance of Death. I think, for all the people who like new Iron Maiden, they're probably going to like Dance of Death because it definitely goes along with a lot of their new music. But to be quite honest, I think it has a lot of their weaker music, even for this new era of Iron Maiden, and is definitely one of the weakest albums this band has ever put out. So I'm going to give Dance of Death by Iron Maiden a 5 out of 10, and I'll see you guys later.